This just in, hot off the wire. We have a 7.7 off of British Columbia. Tsunami warnings in effect. This is huge. Absolutely huge. Oh boy, I have people out west. I have friends out there. Let's check the tsunami warning page. Yeah, that's big. Wow. I thought I'd been feeling a little bit here as well. We've been getting some serious rumbles here, so much people's dogs are barking out there. A 12:15? That's weird. See, we just had another one right there. That's the one I felt. Wow, some serious action tonight. It's a little worrying, actually. Dogs know when stuff's going on. Look at that. Let's see what the RSOE EDIS system is saying. There's Sandy. There's the quake. I've had several in the middle here. Normally you see the red ones, but these dark red ones, yeah. Canada had 3, a 7.7, a 7.7, and a 7.1. But on here, USGS, they only show 1. They actually had 3. You gotta know where to look. Tsunami information statement. Across here. And this is still going on. The dogs are still barking. It was here when we last looked. All this black is now just what's been going on. It's gonna be a bumpy night. And the black line has continued. It's now 1:45. And there's more dogs barking. I mean, who leaves their dog out at 1:45 in the morning? It's weird. They probably put it outside because the dog's freaking out inside the house. Hope everybody's dogs and cats aren't freaked out by this. It is quite the rumbling sensation. I can feel it here. So, good night. And they just had another 5.1 out west. There's even dogs barking in the building now. Weird. And 2 minutes later, another 4.6. And as well, we've had another fair-sized one here. Maybe that's why the dogs were barking. It's all quiet now. Maybe that's it for now. One can hope. Someone out west was saying how they measure tremors by not just a glass of water, but putting a piece of styrofoam in that water, and they can actually see it move more. We'll have to try that, but it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I need to go to sleep. Good night. Morning. There's a major swarm going on where that big one hit yesterday. Look at them all. Usually see that in Puerto Rico. Not on Vancouver Island. We'll have to check that out on USGS and see just how many there is. Looks like about 12, 15 maybe. I'll just bring that up and check it out. Yeah, Queen Charlotte Islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, that was the biggie. So 34 quakes. That's a lot for Vancouver. And here it comes. So there you have it. Not very warm and possible rain mixed with snow. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So today's weather-wise has been up and down temperature-wise from anywhere to 1.5 to 6, back down to 4, up to 3, down to 2. So if it does get a little chillier and windier tonight, this rain could actually turn into snow tonight. So hopefully we don't wake up to a blanket of snow, and then in a day or two the power might go out because of the storm surge hitting the East Coast New York area, and if their power goes out, sometimes our grid goes out. Did a few years ago. We lost power for a good day or two, so hopefully this won't affect us again. This week is going to be pretty strange weather-wise. Sandwiched between earthquakes out west, some rumblings here, and the Frankenstorm coming in. Could be an interesting week. Stay tuned.
Winds up to 80 kilometers per hour. Melissa Raftis is live with more as people start to prepare for the impact of the storm. Melissa?
Kate, Hurricane Sandy has already taken the lives of 65 people in the Caribbean and has destroyed thousands of homes there. And as the storm races towards parts of the U.S., officials in parts of southern Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes are urging residents there to take precautions. But many people we spoke with in Hamilton today say they're not too concerned. Waves are already picking up in New Jersey as Hurricane Sandy heads for the coast.
Expecting to see the storm land in this area within a, give or take a couple of 100 kilometers either way of Atlantic City. So you see the surf is already well up there, even though the storm itself is hundreds of kilometers away. And again, we talked about it yesterday. It's a huge storm. We'll get to that in just a second. As far as Sandy is concerned, here it is right here. We're looking at it still off the coast, actually, of the Carolinas. But it's got tropical storm winds that reach out from the center over 800 kilometers. So it's just a huge storm. So as you saw in the Atlantic City video there, although the storm isn't even that close to it, the outlying area is being affected as well. There's been lots of power, and of course we'll have stories as we go along in this hour here as far as what's happening. So again, in the evening time, this is where we expect to see the storm to land just south of New York City, where precautions are already made, somewhere in New Jersey, moving in towards Philadelphia, into this area and up towards us eventually. But when the storm lands, we're expected to see the effects of it almost right away. Now, tonight and tomorrow, it's still going to be on and on again, off again showers, as it's been for the last couple of days. We only really notice the difference tomorrow evening when the winds pick up and maybe the rain gets just a little bit stronger. Expected winds as it moves into the area. We're sort of on the outskirts, but as you mentioned, Kate, we're looking for Niagara to get the heaviest amount of rain and the wind. Winds from St. Thomas, say, right along the north shore of Lake Erie down towards St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, anywhere from 50 to 100 kilometers per hour, a little bit less in outlying areas. But again, we're expecting to see the heavier winds down around Niagara. As far as rain is concerned, a line again from St. Thomas, because this is closer to the storm, from St. Thomas to Burlington, to Hamilton, down around through Grimsby, down towards Niagara as well, to getting the brunt of the rain up to 75 millimeters, which is sort of the threshold where you're looking at, is it going to be flooding conditions or not. 75 millimeters in one go is what they're looking at, a little bit less elsewhere. But again, we'll be looking for some power outages, some flooding in some areas once the storm moves through late tomorrow night. The heavier stuff, though, comes after midnight tomorrow night and into the early Tuesday morning hours.
The warning was triggered last night after a 7.7 earthquake struck along BC's north central coast. Now, this earthquake was the biggest to hit the country in more than 60 years. No serious damage or injuries are reported. Many of the waves have already come ashore, but officials warn it could take hours before the rough waters completely pass.
Doesn't sound hard to me.
Was filmed just as the 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit. This was filmed in Prince George. This is what it looked like at the time. Now, the quake didn't cause any serious damage. It was centered on the Haida Gwaii Islands, which was just off the coast. It triggered tsunami warnings and all the way to Hawaii. This is one of the biggest earthquakes to hit Canada in decades. Lanes which go toward Kenora are expected to be closed for another week. Today, crews were able to reopen the southbound lanes of the highway. Heavy rain flooded the northern Ontario town, washing away parts of the highway and prompting a state of emergency.
New dose of energy into the storm and expanding its already monster size and reach. Then inject the 150-mile-an-hour plus winds of the jet stream. And forecasters think Sandy explodes into a superstorm. So it's difficult to categorize this storm as anything other than a superstorm. It's a hurricane and then some, but it has all the effects that a hurricane would have. And let's start with surge. First, where I'm standing right here, could have an 11 and a half feet of additional water in New York Harbor. We looked it up to see if that had ever happened before. We'd only been able to find 10 feet in New York Harbor back in 1960 as a surge. So it seems to be unprecedented. And look at the storm surge and its reach all the way up from Rehoboth Beach, well north into the coast of Maine. Then look at those strong gusty winds. We think the winds will be hurricane force in gusts, particularly as they go from that Norfolk coastline to Washington to New York and all the way up into Boston. And the 60, 80 mile per hour winds continue all the way into Pittsburgh. Its driving rains will be another problem, not just coastal flooding, but real flooding from rain and lots of it. From Pittsburgh to New York to Washington, D.C. to Norfolk, there's the opportunity to get 6 to 8 inches of rain. Some people will see more than a foot of rain from this storm, David.
Wow, the rain, the winds, as you point out. And Sam, just before we came on the air, you were telling me about blizzard warnings just up tonight.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. The National Weather Service in Charleston, West Virginia, put this out. 1 to 2 feet above, about 3,000 feet expected in the mountains there, West Virginia, Virginia, and Maryland. And then listen to this. 6 states, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky already have issued winter storm watches or warnings for the snow that will be on the back cold side of this system as it pulls away, David.
We're in the 9 to 11 foot storm surge zone. We could get a 10 to even 20 foot wave. This whole thing could be underwater by Tuesday morning. We really are at ground zero when that beast comes on shore.
New York, this one in Times Square, where the subway will shut down in about 20 minutes from now throughout this storm. Shut down for good. The last passengers getting on to get home right now. Right there, weekend anchor Dan Harris out across the city all day today. Dan, right there in Times Square, looks pretty empty.
It does, David. Good evening to you from the crossroads of the world, where they are right now essentially in the process of shutting this place down. Not only are all the Broadway theaters going dark, but as you mentioned, America's largest subway system is about to halt service. The sign over my shoulder pretty much tells the whole story. 2 words: system shutdown.
Trying to get back to Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're stuck.
We're basically almost having nervous breakdowns.
The airlines are taking no chances, starting to cancel flights tonight.
The power outages are expected to be widespread.
Doesn't sound hard to me.
I don't know if that's the navigator or talking about what I do when you point at it. Turn into a vampire in the moon.
Halloween costume.